Welcome, Amakhosi Network. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be chatting about the Kaizer Chiefs starting lineup versus SuperSport United in the Carling Cup. But anyway, before we get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe. What do I make of this Kaizer Chiefs versus SuperSport game? For me, guys, I won't lie to you. When the draw happened and it was said that we're going to play SuperSport, a part of me was, what can I say, scared. And when I say scared, it's not to say I fear or I think SuperSport has a good team. I just think facing Kevin Hunt and his team in the first round is the most irritating thing I think can ever happen in the world. Because Kevin Hunt has the type of team that beats a lot of these big teams in the first round, and then they go and lose in the second round to a useless team. For example, Kevin Hunt will go and tsatsela and make himself strong for Kaizer Chiefs. He'll beat Kaizer Chiefs 1-0, and then the next game, his team will lose 1-0 to Polokwane City. That is the type of team Kevin Hunt is. That is the type of team that's how they are. What I'm saying is that Kevin Hunt, SuperSport, will most likely not win this Carling Cup at all, even if they beat Chiefs, just because they're that kind of team. They're going to lose to another dumb team. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel Kaizer Chiefs really needs to beat SuperSport United, because they're the kind of team that is going to frustrate Chiefs. They're the kind of team that is going to play useless long balls and all of that. And that's what irritates me about watching Kevin Hunt's team sometimes, is that they're good for big teams, but to win the league sometimes, they're useless. So that is something I took into account when I was thinking about this. So I was like, I wonder how Nabi is going to play, because there are big questions that we have to ask about Nabi. But let's chat about the starting lineup. Okay, let's get to it. Left back, Cross, standard, because Bongani Sam doesn't seem like he's match fit as yet. So I think Nabi, if he's going to introduce Bongani Sam, he may start introducing Bongani Sam as time goes, not like full time, maybe as a substitution when we're winning and stuff like that. Center back, standard, we're going to have Dudley back from Bafana. He had no injury, things were mentioned. Miguel, the next center back. Right back, Reeve Frosler. And then the center midfield is going to be the tough one, because is Nabi going to bench Maart? Is Nabi going to bench Yusuf Maart? That is the big question. Because a part of me feels it's standard for us to believe that Njabulo Blom is going to play, even if it lasts only 60 minutes in the game, but he will start. But now the question is, who is Njabulo Blom going to play with? That is the very big question. Because I can arguably say SuperSport don't have the most talented midfield team, but SuperSport play very similar. What Kevin Hunt demands of his team is very similar of what Nabi demands of his team. They have players who have a high work rate. And when you have players that have a high work rate but aren't exactly talented, it sometimes ends up being the person who worked the hardest in that game will end up winning that game. Which brings me to why a part of me feels Nabi may take this thing of playing Maart again because of how hardworking SuperSport is. But who do I think is a better player to play for Kaizer Chiefs? I think it would be Castillo. I think Castillo and Blom showed some signs of being good together, but I'm just worried about this thing that they like using Maart for, to press players. Because there's one thing that we don't talk about Yusuf Maart is that Yusuf Maart, yes, he's bad with the ball. He can't pass the ball and all of those things. But the one thing Yusuf Maart does, sometimes that we don't take it into consideration just because of the errors he makes, is that Yusuf Maart covers a lot of players. Yusuf Maart covers a lot of the ground and covers a lot of the players. But sometimes it's frustrating, because then he will do those things, but he won't be able to do the job he's on the field for. For example, there are moments in games where a team is going to counter us and Yusuf Maart gets there. He intercepts the ball. There are moments in games where it's going to be 2 against 3 and Yusuf Maart presses that player. It's those hard-working instincts that sometimes save Chiefs from being outnumbered by attacking players, because Yusuf Maart will just jump in, and it's the one quality he has. He may not be good at passing, but he's good at closing down and he's good at just marking. So when you take that out of the game and you put Castillo is a hard player, but Castillo is not the best 6 and not the best player, not the most hardworking player. And on top of that, you have to do this knowing that Njabulo Blom is not at his peak. Njabulo Blom at his peak plays very much like Maart in terms of hard work. He closes down players. It's like having 2 players in one when Njabulo Blom is at his peak, but he's not there yet. So that's my issue. I would personally play Castillo, but a part of me still thinks maybe Nabi will still want to try Maart. Especially because Castillo actually went to South America. He's probably going to come back, need some recovery, jet lag. So most likely he's going to start on the bench, especially for this game. And Yusuf Maart has been recovering, training in South Africa. So that may be a reason why Maart will start. Left wing, from what Nabi said in the press conference, there's a high chance that Sirino will actually play in that game. Or maybe Nabi is just trying to confuse Kevin Hunt. But from what Nabi is saying, Sirino will play. 10 is going to be Mdusha Balala. Right wing is the tricky one. Striker Ranga, we know, standard. Right wing is the tricky one because it doesn't feel like Nabi is ready to play Mfundo Vilagazi there. Because Mfundo Vilagazi, even if he has been playing, his production hasn't been good. Like, he's not creating enough chances for us on the right. It's like, yeah. So, but the one thing I wanted to say about Mfundo Vilagazi sometimes is that maybe when Sirino is on the game and attracts a lot of attention, it will open the game for Mfundo Vilagazi to, have an impact. But when we were watching the Kufa Cup, we didn't have a much of an impact. But in saying that, Wandile Duba has been doing well. So there's no reason for him not to start. I feel like he has been pressing. He has done enough for us to say it would make sense for him to start again. So I'll say that. The players, the impact player I would like to see in this game, since Saile is injured, and impact players I would like to see in this game, especially in the second half, I would like to see Modi, and I would also like to see Nkosi Mpile. Those are the 2 players I feel like could come in when we're winning and give us an additional goal. And maybe, and interesting enough, another thing I'd like to see is that if we are leading and we're good, instead of substituting Wandile Duba, I wish for Nabi to substitute Ranga Chivavero and then move Duba to striker and then bring Dupree maybe as a right wing, Because I'd like to just see Duba playing as a striker in his natural position for once. It would be interesting to see. But anyway, I'll finish this by saying SuperSport is going to be a difficult game. It's going to be a difficult game. In my eyes, if SuperSport is going to beat Chiefs, they're going to beat us 1-0. And in my eyes, if Chiefs is going to beat SuperSport, I feel we're going to beat them 2-0. That is the kind of game I think it's going to come out to. The biggest problem Nabi is facing right now is not too much in the defensive side. It's more in the attacking side. And a lot of you are going to be like, I'm talking nonsense. What am I talking about? And I'm going to be honest in this and say, Chiefs has been creating, I think, the most goals in the PSL this current season. But the ball is not going in the back of the net at the rate that it should be. I am going to give you a quick example. Ranga Chivavero has scored 2 goals, I think 2 to 3 goals this season. But one thing I've picked up about Ranga is that Ranga does not have placement. He doesn't finish like a striker. He finishes Angaz like what? Like someone who just relies on power. So a lot of the times when Ranga kicks the ball, it's not to say he's trying to beat you with a placement and everything. He's trying to beat you with power. And my thing is that how he's trying to beat you with power is like he's trying to be a striker that is Hlompo Kekana. But the thing is that as a striker, we don't need a Hlompo Kekana as a striker. We need someone who, when you get a chance, you put it in the net. And I'm just hoping that Ranga is doing those drills in training, because if you think about his goals so far in the season, it's basically been him taking a shot, the goalkeeper struggling to save the first shot, and then him getting the second shot. So sometimes when I was watching the Kufa Cup, there are moments where I'm just watching him and I'm like, oh, Ranga sometimes misses easy opportunities just because he's thinking of power. But sometimes he just has to place the ball with just a decent amount of power and it's going to be a goal. Tell me what you guys think about that. Amakhosi for life. I am really praying that Kaizer Chiefs win. I believe in this new Chiefs. And you know what? I want Chiefs to win this Carling Cup just because I believe in Nabi. I am scared that losing this cup, if we do get kicked out of the cup, one thing I'm scared about is that it's just going to create unnecessary chatting amongst the fans. And that's what I don't want. I want Nabi to keep winning as much as he can to buy himself time to the January transfer window, because in my eyes, the January transfer window is going to be where Chiefs starts to dominate the league properly, because Nabi is searching for the players that he wants to really make change Chiefs. And we just have to get to the January transfer window. When we get to the January transfer window, guys, simnandi, simjojo, baba. January transfer window, we're going to get the right players into the system. We're going to be 10 times better Kaizer Chiefs in January. Tell me what you guys think. Amakhosi.